You can always add more to a painting, but you need to realize that the painting's already been done.
Like, at what day and moment was I just like, I'm not doing this anymore?
Right.
I wish I could go back and kick that son of a bitch in the dick.
Wish I could
Whatever
kick that son of a
somebody's
bitch in the
going
dick.
through, even the little things are things that like progressively get bigger. Like there's ways around it. There's ways to like
Dude, that view
go through
looks
it.
dope.
It really is.
Everything has a consequence.
Huh?
Everything
Yeah.
changes
Except for,
with every decision that you make.
I wonder if it's mirrored.
I have no idea.
This is me versus me. Can you go back and watch it?
I could probably key into it
Hmm.
on my phone
Yeah.
and see.
That might fucking work.
I'm gonna do that now if that's cool with you.
Hell yeah, dude. Well, fucking, first of all, welcome the fuck back.
Yeah, it's been a minute.
This has been, I've been anticipating this,
Yeah.
and I'm excited.
Oh well, I gotta.
The OG, one of the bigger OGs of this podcast, has returned home. At least for a little bit more. As you all may hear, Zach Morgan. Oh, it's fucking mirrored. That sucks.
A little bit.
That's all right.
It's
Whatever.
all good. Nobody's gonna know.
I'm sure
other
people
than-
can put it together.
Right.
And if not, then go ahead and ask questions.
We won't answer them until next time.
Yeah, I'll get back to you on this.
Oh, dude. Honestly, it is good to be back. You were right. You called me out on it as soon as I fucking walked in. You're like, you're fucking nervous. Shut up,
I'm
dick.
sorry. I can tell when people are nervous when they come in here. That's one thing about this. You'll notice a couple of things have changed, like the dynamic of how it works. I have grown. I've had to learn how to talk to people, talk better, blah, blah, blah. Kind of form the conversation a little bit more,
Oh yeah.
you know? So it's going to be a little growth.
I'm excited to see because I'll be honest with you. I haven't watched any of them.
Me neither.
I haven't.
Me fucking neither.
I think I watched like parts of one.
Yeah.
I watched a couple of pieces with when you had Austin on and I don't think I watched any of me. So it'll be cool to see the changes here firsthand.
I'm hoping that your re-entry is kind of when I'm hoping soon that I'm still looking for that break, that foot, whatever the fuck you want to call it.
Right.
But I can't imagine. I mean, yeah, we might be another year off, but the way it is now compared to the way it was, it's tenfold better. You know.
Good.
The fucking video, the quality,
Yeah. Jesus Christ.
everything is a world apart. People still get shocked when I tell them that there's video on Spotify. They're like, "What? You can do that?"
Right.
I'm like, "Yeah," and that's why I fucking did it. So
Oh, yeah.
things look good. All we gotta do is just keep doing it.
Sick.
So
No, I'm here for it. I mean, I told you from day one when I started doing this with you. I was was I one of or was I the regular?
at that time, I would say it was like maybe you and then maybe one other person, but you were basically
Yeah,
The
I was
co-host.
every week, right?
Yeah. So, and that's cool.
Yeah, I told you from the beginning, man, that I was here for it. We had some shit
Yeah, life happened.
kind of get in the middle of that, and I had to step away from pretty much everybody for a while. And I mean, I know there was a lot of Jesus Christ. I heard so many fucking different stories about why I stepped away and why I walked out and why I just it wasn't the right time and shit. And I mean, it was everything from old shit to girl shit
Yep.
to old girl shit.
Are you talking about like people curating their own shit, their own stories?
Right.
It's
Right.
amazing to me.
And I was like, no, that's not fucking anything that has to do with any of that.
Yeah.
We had some shit that, I mean, we had talked about previously off camera, obviously, is in our personal shit that I had to take care of, and unfortunately, I couldn't do that.
Mm-hmm.
Wrapped up in this.
You are gonna have to bring that closer to you. Just if you tilt it up, there you go.
All right, don't
That's much better.
deep throat it.
Oh, is it
Jesus
trying- is it
Christ.
trying to
Yeah,
come at
it's
you?
trying to fucking make me deep throat
It's like,
it.
hey, daddy.
No, so like I don't know. It was stupid. Life got in the way for me, and I had to go handle it. And unfortunately, that did not leave any room for continuing to be a regular on here. Not saying that I'm necessarily back as a regular by any means, but I'm for sure in a much better place than I was.
Mm-hmm.
And we'll fully credit that to almost dying.
A little
So
eye opener.
yeah, that tends to put things in perspective for you.
Yeah, it sure does, and it's really unfortunate that it has to go that far
Yeah. Yeah.
because nobody fucking deserves that.
No. I mean, dear God. I mean, it wasn't. I mean, it was the day before my birthday, bro. Fucking anybody who hasn't heard the story yet or doesn't know yet, who was a listener, as I was in a motorcycle accident back on April 10th. Had a car pull out in front of me, and I hit her at like 50.
Mm.
Bike's totaled. I was almost totaled. I mean, anybody who knows anything about helmets and modular helmets and stuff knows how hard it is to pull the anchors out of those helmets.
Mm-hmm.
I ripped the anchors out of the modular fucking helmet. The whole front piece that comes up, I ripped the anchors out of it. That's how hard I hit this car. Spun the car 180 degrees.
That's saying something.
Totaled the car. All the airbags in the car went off. I hit the rear passenger wheel.
Mm-hmm.
Bent all of the control arms in that rear passenger wheel, and just
Lord, man.
it's a mess.
Yeah.
It's a mess. Dealing with all that shit right now. I got court on May 15th,
Oh shit, here we go.
so
The process begins.
that'll be fun.
Yeah, super fun.
I still have zero recollection of the day.
Yeah.
I sent a text at 1:30. That's the last thing I remember. The accident happened allegedly at like 5:30. I remember there was a brief like 10-minute window of me in the hospital that I remember. I was coherent. I was having my dad make phone calls off my phone. I was like, just go through the first 10 people in my text messages
Mm-hmm.
and just call them. Just blow up their phone until they answer.
Yep.
Because we had just lost one of our other homies the Sunday before my accident, literally 3 days beforehand. He was in a motorcycle accident and lost him. So it was I had to, I was in that friend group, and all those people were the ones that I was checking on. Those were all the people that were in my text messages and shit. So I had to go and make sure that they knew that I was good.
Mm-hmm.
Because we were supposed to be meeting for my birthday celebration at Bobbers.
That got
And-
delayed.
It wasn't going to be a no-show for that one.
Yeah. Not gonna make this party, guys.
Right. Listen, I know I typically show up late for all my shit, but I'm typically not a no-show.
Couple weeks, maybe.
So no, it's yeah, I've had a year of just figuring shit out, really, and just this has been about a year. I started at AAA in May, so
Yeah,
a little over a year,
I guess it has been.
a little over.
Yeah, since all the first bullshit.
Yep.
Yeah, it's about that time. Oh
Yeah,
yeah. Because we just started building the studio in April. It was like March.
Yep. And we had done 1 or 2 recordings in here.
Yeah, with just the frame.
Yep. Just the frame and that loud ass AC thing that's at. Oh, it's still over there.
Yeah, it's still there. Look at that. Yep, that's crazy.
Remember, people would knock on the window. They needed something.
Fuckers. Now you can almost not hear in here at all. And,
No, it's nice.
yeah,
It's a lot nicer in here than it was, for sure.
it's a little bit.
It's finished, for one.
It's finished-ish.
Right.
It's a little bit messy, but it's pretty solid, you know.
It's all right. It's a pretty nice party room.
It has made for a pretty nice party room, but I'm gonna try and veer away from that, considering my circumstances are better inside now.
Yeah.
Because every fucking time the party goes on in here, all of this equipment gets fucking moved everywhere,
Right.
and I'm like,
Covered
oh,
in beer water.
as
fucking
soon as somebody grabs the cameras, like without even asking, I'm like, oh, you motherfucker,
Yep.
don't
Yep.
touch it.
Stop touching anything in
Yeah,
here.
and it just, I don't know. I'm fine with it, but we'll figure it out.
Are we?
No,
Okay.
no, because I've walked in on people goofing with it, and I've gotten pictures of people goofing with it,
Yeah.
and it turns me red real quick. I never thought I'd feel that way about anything, but I can't fucking help it.
No. This is your shit. This is
This is my baby.
right.
But anyway,
No, it is good to be back.
good.
Good to be back for sure.
I would, before we get too far into anything else,
Mhm.
something that I wanted to bring up, so that way maybe we can arrange more of you
Mhm.
being back if you're up for it. one of the things I am working on financially is this whole setup was so I can grow.
Right.
So the idea now is to have 4,
Okay.
which means possibly a potential all the time co-host or most of the time co-host,
Okay.
and then either 2 or 3 guests, or 1 or 2 guests.
Okay.
And I feel like that would help. That's going to help the intensity of a conversation.
Oh, for sure.
Fucking blossom hugely.
Different perspective, different way of thinking about
Exactly,
things. Yeah.
man. You can really bring some shit out.
Yeah.
And that's something I really wanted to accomplish in the next couple of months. So keep that in mind.
Yeah. Oh yeah, dude. We see things. Me and you see things enough. On the,
Sorry.
on the same level, but then I also have a different, and you do too. We've got a very different way of kind of tackling those instances. Is we see them going down the same path, but I'm over here and you're
We
most of the
dissect
time over here.
We dissect things pretty differently.
Yeah.
Which is weird because normally I would say, well, at this point, 100% of the time we end up on the same fucking road anyway.
Yep.
We just take different paths to get there.
Yep.
And that's why I enjoyed having you on so often as I did, because no matter fucking how the conversation went and which direction we both took, it was always smack dab on the fucking the straight and narrow where we needed to be.
Right.
And it
Always ended up back where.
it always just made sense.
Yeah.
So I would love to be able to have you help me pick a brain with somebody else,
Yeah.
so to speak.
Yeah. My work schedule's a little difficult to work around, but because I know I'm assuming I don't know I'm assuming that a lot of the recording now happens on the weekends.
No.
Excuse me.
No.
No. Okay.
No, actually, most of my stuff I schedule primarily during the week
Okay.
after work.
Well, good, because I've got Tuesday, Wednesdays, and Thursdays off during the week. So
And I do that because I find my weekends the time that I need. I find it to be crucial that I have that time.
yeah.
I don't really have Saturdays to give anymore, which is fine. It's just my day to get shit done.
Yeah.
So
Everybody needs their own day.
some days I have my son all weekend, and then some days I just need to get shit done. And Saturdays and Sundays are just fuck off days.
Right.
So
Ain't nothing wrong with that.
I do shit after work, and I'm cool with it.
This microphone's trying to stop it.
I forgot that was on. There's probably like nobody watching, so
What, the live?
yeah,
Oh, who cares?
I don't care.
It's there.
It'll.
People will key in.
Don't you have to do it like a bunch before it'll start telling more and more people?
Yeah.
Okay. So
Yeah. So basically, it'll everybody who keys in to this one will then get notified for the next one.
Oh, the algorithm.
Right.
She speaks.
Right. Even if it was just for a couple of minutes, like they'll get notified. Hey, Me vs. Me is going live in. Especially if you start notifying TikTok that you're going to be going live and doing stuff like that.
I want to get so good at this. Have you seen how people make a video that goes out right before they go live
Yeah.
or while they're live?
Right.
I'm like, how do you do that?
Yeah, that's crazy.
Yeah.
Well, that's kind of what I'm talking about. Is you've got a ways that you can notify, TikTok or notify whatever platform that you are going to be going live, whether it's through a video or through just an app notification you send out to your followers.
Just more work I got to figure out how to do.
Right.
It's all right. No, and typically I've been a little bit nicer to myself as far as scheduling goes.
Yeah, you were an animal when we started.
I was full throttle for probably the first year of
Yeah.
actual recording, and it started burning me.
Yeah.
Like I was getting to a point where I didn't want to do anything.
Right.
Not here, not there, fucking. And this was more of an obligation to me. Not an obligation, that's the wrong word. This was more of a I need to get this done than fucking actual work was. And it was just bad.
Priority.
So,
It's more of a priority for you.
yeah. I've found that it's easy for me. If I need episodes to get done, then I can pull it together and get it done. But trying to schedule as many times as I was, trying to focus on all the scheduling and then all the recordings and then all the editing, it was just a lot.
Yeah.
So I've given myself a little bit more.
A little more leeway.
I've had to realize that it's going to take a little bit longer than I want it to take for this thing to take off.
Oh yeah.
So I've calmed down a little bit.
Good. Because that'll help too.
Yeah,
You're not pressing so hard.
yeah. I've got. We're at a pretty good point right now where we can ride this pony for another year and a half if we needed to, 2 years, whatever,
Oh yeah.
and we'd be solid.
Good.
So
I'll just keep doing what you're doing.
Mhm.
I mean, and we'll talk off camera more about anything officially.
that works.
So
I'm happy with all this bullshit. I know this doesn't mean a whole lot, but this is a monitor too.
hell yeah.
So anything we always wanted to have a way to
Everything we talked about.
we wanted to pull
Yeah.
stuff up. We can pull it up there.
Yeah.
I have all the recording shit in front of me, right there.
would be nice, even if it isn't somebody on camera or on recording, whatever. Having somebody that way, we can just be like, hey, can you pull up?
Well, that's the plan, is to have somebody
Sitting over there in the
sitting
corner.
right there where they could see that TV. Oh
Right.
no, just at the table.
Okay.
And that's my plan.
Hell yeah.
Once we get this thing,
Having a little tech guru, that way they can
Yep.
have it all done real quick.
just pull it up instead of me doing it.
Right. Instead of us having to stop what we're talking about.
We're probably like 1 or 2 steps away from having that. I mean,
That's a good place to be, because once that happens,
I'm gonna be nervous at first
yeah.
because I gotta trust this whole thing with somebody else.
Right.
But
Again.
again, yeah, it's okay. I don't mind it.
Oh, man.
You had said that you wanted to talk a little bit about some of the stuff, or
I mean, yeah. I mean, shit, I'll just get right to it, man. There was a lot of shit that was said within our fucking personal group. We touched on it a minute ago on the live here before we started recording. You know, is everybody kind of had their own version of events of why I stepped away and why I kind of got out of. I mean, shit, I was living with you.
yeah,
I mean, it's everybody had their own version of events, and it was funny to hear how wrong all of it was.
yeah, I know. And it's fucking wild to me that regardless of what I said, people still came up with their own stuff, and I can
Right.
say that confidently because I didn't tell anybody
No.
anything.
I didn't either.
Because I told everybody, you know, it's our business.
Right.
We did what we had to do. We handled it the way we handled it, and it's done.
Right. And you know, I wasn't in a place in my life at that point in time where I really could talk to you about what I was dealing with and what was going through my head, and really I was diving back down a really dark fucking path for me, and I knew that if I had stayed, that this friendship that we have fucking worked so hard to really keep.
I've had a good few tornadoes.
Yeah, dude, this
Life has thrown us a couple of balls.
this was going to be a good one.
Yeah.
Like that was going to be a good one, and that honestly probably would have been a friendship ender, and that's not what I wanted.
Right. Well, I'm glad you at least made that conscious choice.
Yeah. So I you know, I made the decision to step away, and you know, things have been said, and things, you know, I didn't handle things as well as I could have, because I knew if I tried to, at that point in time, if I had tried to have the conversation with you in person, that would have probably ended up in fisticuffs, and that would have been bad for both of us.
Yeah.
Because neither one of us really wanted to hear what the other person had to say.
Probably not. There was a
Pretty big breakdown in
There-
communication between the two of us, and
there was, and then having the third curveball wasn't going to help anything.
yeah, we're t-
If
we're-
you put that between any group of guys, and it causes a fucking problem.
especially dudes who with personalities like ours, where
Yeah.
it's just like,
Yeah, we're
Well-
both going to say what we want to say, and that's not good all the time.
no, no, the fuck it's not.
But-
No, it's not.
Yeah, so
No.
I respect the ability to walk away and then come back and say exactly what you were doing, because, I mean, that speaks louder than fucking anything else.
Yeah,
You know, the ability for a man to be like, you know, I took a year, I took some time, and I fucking cooled off. I got my shit together, because there's times too where I couldn't speak a fucking normal sentence if I wanted to.
no,
Things are too scrambled,
Right.
and it's gonna come out wrong.
right, and that's exactly where I was at. Is, you know, the conversation that got back to you, and then there was a conversation that got back to me, that if we had tried to sit down and square that off at that point in time, neither one of us would have gotten anywhere.
Right.
It would, like I said, it would have ended up with us fighting, and it just, like, physically fighting, and it just would not have been beneficial for anyone. People would have ended up in hospitals and jails. It just wouldn't have been good.
Not good.
Wouldn't have been good. So no, man. So for everybody who gives a shit, not that I give a shit about anybody else, but I mean, realistically, the beef was between us, and it needed to stay between us, and that's how it happened.
I feel like that's the most appropriate way to put it, because it didn't have any business going anywhere else.
No, it didn't. And for everyone else who thought that they had a say in what happened, or thought they knew about what happened, and thought that they could run around and tell other people about our business, get fucked.
This has been a relatively close topic that's come up on a few other podcasts, to be honest with you, about just keeping your, I don't fucking know. It's like keeping your air clean, keeping your energy to yourself. You know, just spread the good shit, and the bad shit doesn't need to be spread like that.
No.
Your input about somebody else's shit does not need to come out. It just doesn't.
No,
That-
unless you were sitting in the room when it happened, and you were instrumental in however that fucking played out, then you have no say and no business spreading any shit
Right.
about what the fuck happened. And even if you were in the room, unless one person or the other is like, yeah, dude, like, whatever, I don't care, you can talk about it.
Right.
Shut the fuck up. Keep
mean-
your mouth shut.
I mean, that comes up pretty often in my group of friends and this and that, and I remind people constantly, whatever happens here fucking stays here.
Right.
Your business is your business, and I will
Right.
keep it that way. It doesn't matter what you're doing or what you have or what's going on. It's just, and for the people that I'm just gonna say it because I know there fucking is, but for the people that get entertainment out of spreading that shit, that shit's gonna come back.
Dude,
I could tell you right now that karma's gonna come back.
Yeah. Yeah. Karma.
The people that get off fucking watching people suffer like that,
Karma's a bitch.
you might want to fucking mind your P's and Q's for a hot minute, because
Karma's a bitch, boy. I'll tell you what. Like,
your stories won't last fucking forever in secret.
no, and I'll tell you what. I've told you, we've had this conversation too. Is I'm the kind of person I've always got little moles places.
Mm-hmm.
I've got friends that people don't really know about because I don't blast my shit everywhere. I might, my friend group isn't all over Instagram, isn't all over Snapchat, isn't all over Facebook, isn't all over TikTok, all these fucking social media platforms and shit. I'm not out there. If I'm with somebody who's posting, hey, I don't need people knowing my personal business. And when it comes down to, and all of a sudden I always have to laugh. There is one person in the friend group that just sits there and just churns the fucking butter, stirs the goddamn pot all fucking day long, dude. And
There's a couple of them.
there's one in particular that you know who I'm talking about, but he just doesn't let shit go. And I've got people coming back to me that I'm still, that instance that happened 7 fucking years ago is still a topic in conversation pretty much every time my name gets brought up in any room that I'm not in.
Oh, sweet.
Yeah.
That's exciting.
Dude, it's so great. And every time the story changes, every time it's a little bit different, I'm just a little bit more of an asshole for it. And I'm like, that's not what happened at all. And I've told this person, and I've said it to everyone else that figured that they would get back to that person if they wanted to have a conversation about it. They've got my number still. My number hasn't changed.
Yeah.
They know where I'm at. They know where I work. They know where I drink. They wanted to have a conversation about it, they could, but they choose to stay away and keep running their mouth.
Not hard to find.
No. Not hiding from anybody.
Nope.
And that's, well, fuck, that's part of the that's part of the shit, is all of a sudden I went from being, a guy who was in a tough situation, dealing with a divorce and, money issues and all that kind of shit, to now I ducked him and I fucking was hiding from him and I was hiding money from him and I wasn't doing this and I wasn't doing that. And I was like, well, none of that's happened because I've got receipts. So, like, that's the kind of shit that drives me nuts, man. Is if you've got a problem with somebody like that, handle it. One-on-one. Have the conversation.
Typically they can't because it's not true. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Because if it doesn't come up, then they're either making shit up or it's just not fucking, none of it's fucking true.
No, and that's exactly where I was going to go with that. Is the next step is, all of a sudden now they're ducking you, in a sense.
Yeah.
'Cause you're like, hey, I'm willing to have this conversation with you and we can square it up just like we did.
Mm-hmm.
And all of a sudden now it's crickets in the background and
That's awkward.
right. It's weird. Didn't realize that's how that works, but okay.
I don't want to say it's become kind of a game, but it kind of has in my mind, because now if anything, luckily I'm pretty problem free right now, which is kind of nice. I've handled everything. I'm open enough about everything that I need to be open with, and my shit's just out. The shit that I want out is out, and the shit that I don't is not. So luckily I don't have too much. I've cleared up a lot of the bullshit. But when it does happen, I call it out immediately.
Right.
And it's usually not favorable for the other person, but
No.
I don't care.
No.
That's not why I did it. I did it because you're pissing me off.
Right.
and I'm gonna fucking handle it.
And that's. I know we had talked recent, or not a recent podcast, on one of the last ones that I did with you. We had talked about, specifically about like the state of men and how men have kind of decided to handle things as a whole.
Yeah.
And or at least we had the conversation. I don't remember if it was actually on a podcast or if it was just me and you sitting and having that fucking conversation over a couple of beers. But, I feel like men is such a loose term now.
Mm-hmm.
Because everyone tries to be a man and tries to act like they're the fucking man and that they have all their shit together and whatnot. When in reality, you're just fucking acting like it. And it's not a beneficial thing for anybody, including you or the people that are directly around you, because then they get turned into and they get looked at as, oh, well, this dude's really not who he says he is, and then these 4 people, just as an example, these 4 people are closely tied to him, so they must be of the same skin. You know what I'm saying?
Kinda. The thing that comes to mind when you talk about this kind of front, the first thing that comes to my mind is, for one, I'm not a huge fan of the term being a man or owning it up like a man or any of those things. It kind of just gets associated with violence anymore.
Yeah.
The way of handling things is not by handling with your fucking hands.
No, and that's when I said handle it, like that's not what I meant.
No, I know it's
Yeah.
not, because I know what it means to handle a problem without using violence.
We've done it how many times?
Right. It's not a fucking problem if you can just chill out for a goddamn second, handle it like a man, and have a conversation.
Right.
Now, the misconstruction of that means that I have to go beat his ass immediately is irritating
It's
as a whole.
yes.
But then the front I think that you're talking about is when it comes down to handling it, the way I'm describing it, is still not present.
Right.
Because people don't know what it means to stand up for your fucking problems.
Correct.
Is that what you're talking about?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. They don't. They talk a big game about, oh yeah, like we'll sit down, we'll handle it,
Yeah, we'll deal with it.
we'll deal with it, and then when the time comes to deal with it,
Yeah, nobody wants to deal with it.
they sit across the room and they just look at you.
Mm-hmm.
And it's like, I'm not going to go out of my way. I'm not the one who needs to come to you. I'm not apologizing for shit.
Right.
You know what I mean? I came to you because I owed you an apology.
That's the other thing too, is the disrespect of it all.
Yeah.
It's
And
not.
that's really where I was going with that. It turns into a disrespect thing, and then guys like us, who will handle it, we will have the conversation.
Mm-hmm.
We will sit down, we will own up to whatever we said, we did, whatever it was. Yeah, I fucked up.
Mm-hmm.
It is what it is.
Typically.
And then you've got the other side of it where they'll sit across the room, and then they'll flap their gums to everybody else. Like, oh, he's a pussy because he's not going to come over here and fucking talk to me. Like, I don't owe you that apology. I don't owe you that.
This should have never been a part of the equation.
No.
In the fucking whole of it, this didn't need to be a part of the equation.
No, and those people who still handle it like men. For those of you who can't see, I'm doing the air quotes and shit because you're not handling it like a man. You're handling it like a fucking little boy.
Yeah, you standing in the corner acting like a badass talking shit is you don't look good.
No, because you've backed yourself into a corner, but I'm standing in the middle of the room going,
Hey man.
right, what's up?
But yeah, people will make that first step and they'll call you a bitch.
Yeah.
That's for sure been a fucking problem.
Yep.
But
And that again turns back into, you've got little boys trying to act like men, and it's like trying to act like what a real man is.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm not talking about, like you just said, we're not talking about fighting, we're not talking about throwing hands, we're not talking about dealing with it like that. Now, that being said, if it comes to that,
we're barbarians.
we will handle that
At
shit.
our core, we're
Right.
we're barbarians.
We will handle that shit. But I would much rather have the conversation and just be able to walk away from it on both sides than have to throw hands with somebody, because
I would, dude. Even if a conversation didn't fucking go my way, and we ended it on a disagreement, I'd still rather do that.
right.
You think I want to fucking go to the hospital or go to jail or
No.
deal with the repercussions tomorrow?
No.
Lose my job, whatever the fucking case may be.
Jobs, kids.
Right?
Yeah. Like
The ball gets bigger.
we actually have shit to lose at this point.
Yes. don't fucking want that. And if I go to court, they're gonna look at me and be like, okay,
Right.
you're going to jail.
Right. Especially for something like that, for something like throwing hands at a fucking bar or whatever.
Right.
Like they're just gonna look at you and they'll be like,
It's reckless endangerment.
right,
Possibly manslaughter.
right, because neither one of us know when to stop. That's a problem.
There's bars everywhere out there.
Yeah.
Not
Yeah.
not like buildings. I mean like the fence.
Right.
Yeah. Okay.
Oh man.
Yep.
Moving on.
Anyway,
Moving on. People need just. I'm gonna end it with this. People just need to learn how to keep their mouth shut and just let situations be when they're not involved in them.
keep your business to yourself and keep everybody else's business to yourself.
Yes. Moving on. More positive shit. I got a good laugh. We're gonna touch on a little bit of the accident again.
Oof.
My dad I'm dealing with a grade 3 concussion because of the accident. I mean, I told you. My helmet's fucked. Anybody who's ever been in an accident with a modular helmet, tell me how that front end ended up, and then we'll talk about it. But
I never would have thought about it.
yeah, literally, it took there's the two anchor clips right here that it snaps into. It ripped it out of the fiberglass.
Do they make it safer because of that, or what's like? I know it's a cooler helmet to have, but
It's really cooler for the summer and stuff because especially down here because it is so hot. You can lift the whole front of the helmet up
Yeah.
off, and it turns into a 3/4 helmet instead
Yeah.
of a full face.
it's a fucked up question to ask in Arizona because
It
it gets fucking hot.
yeah, it's 120 degrees outside. I'm not wearing a full face. I don't want to be wearing a full face helmet sitting on Bell Road.
Doesn't sound great.
No, when my rear cylinder shut off because the bike's over 220 degrees. Like, it's hot, okay? Yeah, it's hot. But, no, I'm sitting there the day after the accident on Facebook Marketplace. My dad comes up behind me and goes, "Boy, you're lucky you got a concussion." I was like, "Why?" He goes, "'Cause I'd slap the shit out of you right now for looking at bikes the day after you almost died."
Your dad said that?
Yeah.
I'd have believed him too. It's a scary motherfucker.
Yeah, no, I absolutely did believe him, and it going to turn this kind of into a passion conversation here for a bit. Is I've had a lot of. You were one of them, actually, when you saw me up at Bombers shortly after the accident. I've had a lot of people tell me that they never wanted to see me on twos again, and that they wanted me to just relax for a bit.
What I said was, if you didn't die, I was going to kill you.
That is what you said. That is what you said. But I had a lot of people telling me that they didn't want me to get back on twos again, and they didn't want me to be back on wheels and whatnot. And people got to understand that I've been on twos since I was like 7. Dirt bikes up in Michigan, on the beach up there, and that's when my passion really started thriving, and it was for a long time was motorcycles and baseball. I had. Shit, I turned 6 to the day I turned 16. My parents brought home a motorcycle, and they were like, "Cool, go get your permit. Go get your
Damn.
motorcycle permit, and this is yours." 6 weeks later, my dad comes home with another one. We're rolling out to Wickenburg and stuff. I was 16 years old. I had been on twos on the street before, but they were all dirt bikes and little pit bikes, and they were all my buddies' shit.
Yeah.
And my dad's broken his neck on motorcycles, and he was told the last doctor he saw about it right before he bought that bike, the first one when I was 16, was told by a doctor that he should never ride a bike again. He's got a floating bone chip in C6, C7, like in his neck. Yeah,
Ow.
yeah, he's broken his back. He's broken his neck. Like he's
Makes me want to vomit.
right. So that's where I get it from, and that's why I laughed when my dad said that to me. But he understood. About an hour later, he sat there. He turned the TV off and he looked at me, and he was like, "I understand that I'm never going to be able to keep you off of bikes." He goes, "I get it." He goes, "That's you grew up with it. You've always been on them. You've always been around them, whether it was quads or horses or whatever. You were always on something that did not have a cage." And he was like, I'm not going to try to stop you. He goes, but I need you to know that I don't want you on them again. And that took me a minute to be able to wrap my head around, and I was able to do it. Is you've got to be able to. This is kind of my interpretation of it. my concussed brain was able to wrap around, and just, is you've got to be able to know when your passion is turning into more of a, what's the word I'm looking for here? Not a curse, but I'm going to say curse. Right? I crashed back in 2022. Same bike. It was something stupid. Front caliper froze. Hanging into a corner. As anybody who's ridden...
I've had one of those.
Yeah, that's always fun.
Yeah.
You know very quickly that front caliper's fucked, and you're going down. There's nothing you can do about it at that point.
I have road rash scars on all 4 corners.
Yep. And then after this one, it kind of set home. I'm definitely going to change a lot about how I ride and where I ride and when I ride.
Mm-hmm.
But I'm never going to stop riding. And I think people, as far as where I'm going with this is, everybody has their own passion. Everybody has something that they're passionate about in their life. And at some point it takes over.
At some point, yeah.
You pour so much energy and time into something that you want and you want to make happen, that it takes over your life. And you've got to know when it's healthy for you to turn it down. Turn that dial down a little bit. Take a step back from it. And go, this is kind of what I need to do in order to thoroughly not only be able to continue to enjoy my passion and what I want to be doing,
Mm-hmm.
but just life in general. You see people putting so much effort and so much time into their passions and whatnot, and then it turns into this grind and they lose all of it. They learn to hate it. They start to dread doing said activity. Whether it's bikes or baseball or sports or podcasting or whatever it is.
Mm-hmm.
You put so much effort into something that you eventually start to dread doing it, and then you're lost. At least that's how I am. If I don't have that thing that I'm passionate about, that I can turn to, that I can turn the brain off for a while and just let the rest of my life kind of go for an hour or two,
Mm-hmm.
and just let the stress and everything else melt away and just turn off. You start to dread that activity, and then what? Now everything you do fucking sucks, and everything you do you fucking hate, and everything you do is just dreadful and gross.
That's a complicated one.
It is,
Because of how many different levels and how many different things and how many different people.
yeah, this is something that's been on my mind pretty much every single day since the accident.
I can kind of fuck with that because, after not having a motorcycle again for another year now, the next one that I do get after, riding fucking just as well as you have,
Mm-hmm.
for one, I've known in the past to try and make it my primary. I've tried that fucking like 4 times in my life,
Yeah,
and it's a motherfucker to do.
it's never fun.
It's not good for anybody. And I know there's going to be people that want to argue with that, but making a motorcycle your primary form of transportation in Arizona is just not a good thing.
And that's the key word, in Arizona.
Yeah.
In Arizona. Nobody fucking pays attention out here.
Well, I'm more so talking about the fucking weather
All that too.
because,
It's hot.
goddamn,
It's hot.
fuck, it gets hot. And I personally don't like being the blistering cold that we have.
Oh, man.
I've had to ride to work on my crotch rocket in 30-degree weather.
Yeah.
Ow.
Well, and it's
And it's hard to ride in 5 jackets, okay?
it is. And what for people from the rest of the country that don't really understand is, everybody talks about our heat. And it's a dry heat. It's a dry heat. It's a dry heat.
And the joke is that we have dry cold, but we fucking do.
We really do.
And that dry cold is blistering.
It's just as bad. 30 degrees is just as bad as 120.
Yes.
And I've always been one. I mean, when I lived with you, my bike was my primary mode of transportation. It was up until my accident.
Yeah.
Now I'm scrambling trying to get that stupid Durango running again. And it's just,
It's after spending some time in Iowa, I do have a kind of a reference. Now they had, I saw a -40 with wind chill.
yeah.
which was a whole new world for me, by the way. And I'm not going to tell you that it's nice because it's fucking not.
No, that's dumb cold.
But I would say that our negative 30 didn't hurt nearly as bad as negative 4. Or our 30 didn't hurt nearly as bad as the negative 40, but it did feel a lot like right around 0.
Yeah.
You know?
Yep.
And
Yeah, it's. No, I'm from the Midwest, from Chicago. You know,
that's true. I
Yeah.
forgot.
Yeah, you know, riding up there is, especially during the winter, is one thing. You know, but it's a dense air up there. You got the humidity. You've got
The humidity really helps the cold.
It's weird, and it's weird to talk about, but it does.
Yeah.
Because it's half-assed backwards. Once it starts getting cold, the humidity helps warm everything back up because the air's denser. It's all closer together.
Yeah. And even when it was, there was mornings out there when it was obviously snowing, it was like 15, 20 degrees.
Yeah.
I was able to go out and start my truck in my fucking wife beater.
Right.
And
in
like,
shorts.
in shorts.
And you were fine.
And it just wasn't as fucked up.
No, you do that out here in December,
No.
and you're in jackets just to go out and start the truck.
Yeah.
Like it's bad.
It's different. I don't understand.
And there also has to be something said about, you know, because it is so hot down here, your blood does thin. It does not retain heat.
I would like to know if that's factual.
It is. I'll argue with anybody.
This is where we need... or argue with anybody. This is where we need a fucking Jamie.
Yeah.
You look that up for me?
Yeah. Point at the live stream. Somebody on the live stream, figure that out.
Somebody fucking Tony Starks my shit right now and throws their screen. I'm like, you come here. I'll figure out how to pay you.
Right. We got beer.
I have lots of beer. Whoa.
What's happening?
I don't know. I don't know what that means.
That's an accept or uninterested. Okay, cool.
Well, doesn't matter what I said now.
No. Somebody's trying to.
Oh, somebody's trying to join the live.
Yeah.
Oh, shit.
That's what it looked like.
I'm sorry, guys. I kind of can't interact with you if you haven't been able to tell. My phone is
Across the room.
fucking over there.
And we're having to hold the mics in place
Yeah,
because
these motherfuckers.
they wanted us to deep throat them, and
I
we're
am-
not game for that.
I am gonna work on how to do the interacting as we're doing the podcast. I just don't know how yet.
I think honestly, I think having a third person in the room
Yeah,
was gonna solve that problem.
yeah. Well, that and once I'm able to stream,
Right.
then I can interact on the computer.
Yeah, we'll be able to you can have it right there in front of you on the monitor.
Yep.
Oh man.
Going back to the passion thing.
Yeah, my bad. We got sidetracked there.
That's all right. I wanted to just go back to what we were talking about with the podcast. You made it just pretty fucking accurate when you said, you know, if you can burn yourself out, and I almost did.
We were just talking about that before.
I never wanted to quit, but I sure as fuck was tired,
Yeah.
and I was like, the only thing that kept going through my head, which is a first for me, is I need help. I need fucking help. I need financing. I need help. I can't do this on my own. And the option never came. So for me, that means that I'm just going to do it. I'm just going to deal with it,
Oh, you got to figure it out.
which is fine.
Right.
That's the way it needs to be. I'm fine with that. But I almost burned myself out, is my point. And the motorcycle thing, I was just going to say, the next one I get, I'm going to make sure it's not my primary form.
Yeah,
I can ride when I want, and I can do what I want with it.
Yeah, it's
Because I've burned myself out on bikes a lot
yes.
after almost burning myself down
Yes. Twice.
twice.
Oh man. So tell me, I'm gonna ask you a couple questions here, Big Man.
Let's go.
It's been a hot minute since we've actually been able to sit down and have a conversation. Might as well do this now.
Mm-hmm.
What's been going on? Tell me everything about this. What's changed? I see a lot of it's changed. I see a lot of it's everything. A lot of what we talked about, you know, previously when I was on here is you know, we've got the multiple screens, we've got the room set up, we've got you know, the cameras now, a live stream on TikTok. That's fucking new. He threw that at me today, and he was like, "Oh, by the way, you're going to be live on the internet." I was
BTW.
like, "Oh, cool." I didn't like that, but it's fine.
Yeah, man. The video is now on a consistent basis.
Hell yeah.
They're all video. They have been for 40 episodes,
Oh wow.
something like that.
Okay.
I'll have to double back with you on that. Like I said, working on the growth so we can do 3 or 4 at a time. Well, that's something I really want to do because I feel like that's our next endeavor. That's the next big one.
And I did I see a couple weeks ago you posted a picture, I think it was on Insta or something, where there was a bunch of people with headsets on in here. Was that a recording thing going on, or was that just a picture that was kind of floated around? Let me see if I can find it.
Was it of two girls?
Yeah.
So that was my sister and my cousin from Cali.
Okay.
And yeah, we did. We just set that mic on the table, and they both spoke into it.
Okay.
Not ideal, but it was my first. It wasn't my first having two guests, because we fucked around in the past, but it was, I guess, in here with this setup, yeah, it was.
Yeah.
And it went really well.
Okay.
They talked about a lot of stuff. Growing up together, they had a lot to share.
Right.
And a lot of stuff came out. And
Sister and cousin?
Yeah.
Okay.
And a lot of emotional stuff came up that I wasn't really planning on.
That's
But,
always a trip.
yeah. And they fucking did it. And it was a really good show, actually. But I can't wait for it to be like an official thing. Again, we were set up to have an onboard moderator or IT guy,
Yeah.
whatever the fuck we want to call it. We're ready for that now.
I think physically ready, maybe not monetarily ready.
Oh no, yeah, that's the money problem. That's really what it is.
Yeah.
Because if I could throw somebody money, then I would be.
Right, we'd be there already.
I'd have
or you'd
handled
be
that.
there already.
I'd have handled this.
Saying we like I've been here the whole time.
There's gonna be other changes. I'm still gonna be fucking with the video quality a little bit.
Okay.
These just got me off the ground,
Yeah.
and
They're
I
decent cameras for sure. They're little.
I haven't really had the time to learn more about videography. I'm kind of capped as far as exploring goes.
Okay.
So I got my hands on these. I made them work, and I found a free software that helps me do it.
Sick.
And I have another software that synchronizes the audio and the video,
Super sick.
and I know how to use it all.
That was a problem before that I remember we had.
I've had to switch software twice
Ugh.
because one of them that I was paying for would never work.
Oh, that's always fun.
Yeah, I had to argue with them. I argued with them almost an entire day to get my money, and for them to cancel my contract so I could just delete it.
Jesus Christ.
But it was a shit show.
We're not going to name any names.
No, but we're in good shape now. Just trying to push the growth as much as I can in my current situation, because as if I haven't said it enough for the listeners and the watchers, I am still just a single dude working full time as a mechanic. I'm still just a normal fucking guy outside of this, trying to survive otherwise. But I'm also trying to push this as hard as I can.
Oh, yeah.
And it's a motherfucker, but I don't want to stop it.
Do you have a link or anything for somebody if they wanted to donate some cash or anything like that? Have you thought about doing something like that, or is that
My
even
ca-
an option?
My Cash App is on the TikTok.
Okay.
It has a link tree.
Okay.
That also has links for that.
Is it a podcast cash app, or is
Well,
it?
It's my personal one. But I think all my personal stuff has this shit plastered all over it.
It does, but I'm mainly asking like that way. You know, you would have your this is going directly to this new cameras, new audio recordings.
I understand what you're saying.
You see what I'm getting at?
Yeah. No, I don't have anything itemized that way. Because really what it comes down to in my brain is once my priorities are straightened,
Yeah.
then the extra from that after that will go to this.
Okay.
That's the option really isn't there. It's just once my priorities are taken care of, then
Okay.
anything extra goes to this.
Okay.
So
And that's so that's kind of exactly why I was asking. You know, for people for listeners, for viewers who want to, you know, take a little bit of that burden off of you, maybe, or directly donate for, you know, an extra camera or an extra mic. That way you could start doing. I keep saying we,
yeah,
jumping right back into it.
you're into it, man.
You know, you could have that second or third person, you know, for recording. That way you could have that extra conversation, or even if it's just ended up for the IT person to sit and,
That'd be nice. Yeah.
you know what I mean. So maybe that'd be something to think about for sure.
I agree. I don't know morally how okay I am with it, to be honest with you.
Okay.
And the only reason I say that is not that you're wrong, because there's nothing wrong with what you're saying. The only reason that I say that I don't know if I feel good about it is because everything that I need from this point forward is not cheap.
No, that's
My expansion,
kind of my exact point.
yeah, my expansion at this point is going to be upwards in the thousands.
Right, and that's kind of my exact point. You
Yeah.
know, you've got what 3,000 on TikTok. You've got, you know, so
It seems so minimal because, and I'm going to do the exact thing that we talk about not doing. You're not supposed to compare yourself to other people, but seeing the shit that I see on TikTok and just the way the guys monetize this content is fucking amazing. For one, it's fucking brilliant. But when I talk about $2,000 like it's the hardest thing on the planet to accomplish, I'm like, fuck, man, that's not. It shouldn't be this fucking hard.
no, it shouldn't. But I mean, that puts the reality of the situation for people.
I just live in the
it's-
real world, you know.
Right.
I mean, I can't dedicate all my being to the content, which I wish I could.
right, which is
I fucking would.
exactly my point. Is why I brought that up. Is, you know, that would make things a lot easier for you.
Yeah.
You know, even if it was just a, you know, a one-time, hey, here's $100, here's, you know, whatever. That then could start the fund, and then that could then chip away at, you know, getting the goals. That way you can move this in the direction that you want to.
Your brain's already here, man.
Yeah, which is weird because it hasn't been in my head for a couple weeks since the accident. But, you know, it's that gets you moving in the correct direction.
Yeah.
I don't know what logistically, legally, if any of that's even possible.
Oh, as far as the finances?
Yeah, as far as somebody just donating, you know, I don't know what all that entails.
It is. I mean, I've received donations in the past.
Okay.
I don't think there's any true legalities behind it.
Okay. Anybody who knows, hit it up.
Yeah, I'm gonna have to see if I can go through and check out all the activity that went down on there. I know that when you guys send me gifts, that's the kind of stuff that's gonna help this thing get floating.
Share the shit out of it.
So if I can ask for gifts, help me get this thing off the fucking ground a little bit better. You know, it's been a hard 2 years for me to get where I am today, and I want to see this thing go full fucking Starship, and I want to do this full time. So if we can fucking send it that way, I would be forever grateful. And I have plans to do much, much bigger things with this. The meaning of me versus me is far bigger than what I can possibly express at this time.
Oh yeah.
The goals that I have set for myself within me versus me are substantial. I just cannot give it a face right now because I don't have the means to do it.
Let me ask you, bringing up, you know, the name of the podcast here, Me versus Me, has that title changed meanings at all to you since this thing has kind of taken shape?
A little bit.
Okay.
A little bit.
Dive into that. I want to know.
It's been referenced to almost as like therapy to some guests, and I'm not 100% sure I'm okay with that.
Why?
Because I mean, we can use that loosely. I'm fine with using it loosely, but I don't want this just to be seen as a therapy session. I want for people to really truly feel good when they leave here, because they let stuff out. When people walk through their problems, and I get to see that realization happen, and they realize what they just let out and why it's been a problem, and the relief from that, that is an amazing process,
Right.
in and of itself. And I didn't have to do anything but maybe ask a correct question,
Right.
and I'm cool with that. But the other part of this is that I want to try to renew human connection at the same time. Now, when people break down these problems and they have that realization in front of me, 9 times out of 10, there's something about that process that I'm going to be able to relate to. And I want to make sure that that gets emphasized on too. Because this life is fucking hard enough. We don't need to be fighting each other constantly to make it that much fucking harder. We're all on the same team. And I want to make sure that that's something that always gets remembered.
So I think you brought up a good point with when you brought up the human connection, you know, and you know, I'm going to touch base on a bit of what we talked about earlier, you know, with people who enjoy to stir the pot and like to see things, you know, in a negative light and like to throw negativity at other people. You know, the human connection is not supposed to be a negative thing.
No.
Like, this is supposed to be, the human connection is supposed to be a good thing for everyone involved. It's supposed to be a door, in my eyes, it's supposed to be a door to open for other perspectives to bring into your life, to show you that maybe, you know, that situation to deal with, while in your four walls looks like the end of the world, the person over here is going to be able to bring that and maybe open that window and shine a little bit of light into it, and go, hey, look, this isn't the end of the world. You're not going through this alone. You're not here just in your four walls by yourself dealing with this in the darkness all the time.
Right.
And you know, I'm gonna touch on it and just reiterate what you said. You know, the people who enjoy closing those windows and making sure that person is locked into their box in the dark by themselves all the time, there's a special place for you.
Yeah, it's not gonna last.
No.
And on a bigger scale, it's kind of cheesy to touch on, but I'm going to, because it's a very literal scale. But even the foundation of America's, we the people.
Yeah.
Some of the rights that we enjoy today in America, and I pray to God that whoever I'm speaking to that has similar rights, by all means, I don't mean any disrespect by that, but the foundational rights that our quote unquote forefathers set for us were supposed to be us as a whole, right, to prevent things, to work together, to build together, to do everything together. It's not just in a literal sense either. I mean, the amount that you can accomplish, there's strength in numbers, every which way you twist it. And I just think it's ridiculous that we're constantly fighting each other when my neighbor is going through the exact same shit that I am.
We're all going through the same shit.
Right. And you have a different chapter than I do, but it's the same shit, I promise you.
Right. We're all in the same book.
Right.
We're all dealing with it. We're all going through it.
You have people in your life that come and go. I have people in my life that come and go. I have people, I'm going to die someday. You're going to die someday. I have health problems. You have health problems. We all have bills. Like, why the fuck do we constantly fight each other? So I'm here to remind people, and I want that voice to be heard. And
Stop being assholes to everyone else.
You know what's fucked up is I think about that outside of the podcast. Outside of the fucking podcast, I catch myself being an asshole, and I'm like, dude.
But I'd be talking shit about myself on my podcast right now. Hold on. Like,
are you promoting good or not? No, that's fine.
well, and I mean, that being said too, you know, it goes hand in hand with, you know, people closing the windows and keeping people in the dark, is the level of hypocrisy that we see now is unheard of. I mean, it is so, you go out and you talk to people, and they're 1 minute in your face, and this goes again right back to the conversation that we started with, you know, with people stirring the pot and making sure that, you know, people are still sticking their nose in other people's business and shit. Is you've got people who go around and turn around and are like, I don't do that. I don't talk about other people. I don't talk shit. I don't do that shit. And then they're the first person who sticks their nose in other people's drama, sticks their nose in other people's situations. Is like, oh, well, Zach said this, or Zach said that, or fucking Sage did this, or Sage did that. And it's like,
what are you doing?
You just got done telling me yesterday that you keep your nose out of all the drama, and that you just
and the people that do it with their eyes shut blows my mind. It fucking blows my mind when somebody says that they're not doing something, then they turn around and do it again
in the same breath.
And I'm like, of the time. Why am I the one that fucking feels crazy right now? Because I'm pretty sure you just... Anyway. That's happened a couple of times in the last, 6 months, and I'm like...
Didn't you just...
Am I the one that's losing it? Am I coming unglued right now?
No, I've
had people tell me to my face that they repeat something, like, they say something, and they're like, you just said that. I'm like, I haven't said anything. Like, within 10 seconds, you just said that. I'm like, I literally haven't said anything. They're like, really? Yeah, not one word came out of my mouth, and they're like, could have swore you just said that. I'm like, nope, I didn't. Breathe.
Oh man,
that is, and I'm like, what?
What is happening?
Just actually fucking happened. You're literally making shit up in your brain. Anyway, fucking shit. Well, it's been a good hour.
Has it been an hour already?
Yeah, and I'm pretty sure your brain has already decided for you coming back more.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah. Listen, I thoroughly enjoyed doing this with you.
Mhm.
I enjoyed being your co-host because I mean, I think we even said it on a podcast.
We did.
And then shortly after that, I disappeared.
Yep.
And it just, unfortunately, just life kicked me directly in between the balls and
Well,
just,
I said it then and I'll say it again, man. There's just times that life happens and there's not always times you can control it.
no.
And that's perfectly fine.
Got to roll with it sometimes, and unfortunately,
Sometimes you do, man.
yeah.
So it is what it is.
But it looks like it looks like that kind of benefited you because it kind of puts you. I mean, everything we talked about is here.
Is that crazy to see?
Yeah, everything we talked about is here, and everything that we wanted to see this progress to in the same amount of time that I've been gone.
Mm-hmm.
We talked about that, having it from the last time I did a podcast. We talked about in about a year having cameras, having multiple screens, having almost ready to have a tech screen or having live feeds and shit in the room, and then a year or so later, here I am, and it's all fucking here.
Most of it's into fruition.
Yeah, that's really cool to see. It's really cool to see the amount of growth that this podcast has been able to go through. And if I'm going to be honest with you, I was not expecting to come in here and see cameras and screens and all that shit. I just wasn't. I was expecting to come in and see pretty much not the same setup. I knew you were going to have new mics and I knew you were going to have new shit.
Mm-hmm.
I just didn't expect to see the TVs, the screens, the the monitors, the cameras, the live stream. A full size fridge in the corner is nice.
That's super nice, and it produces ice and water.
Oh, sick,
Dude. Greatest fucking idea ever.
No, so man, honestly, if like I said, we'll talk more off camera if you want, or we can just fucking hash it out right here, right now, and make it official for everybody. I have no issues being back. What is happening on the live feed?
Is that like a vacation? Are we going on vacation?
I don't know what that is. Verify to continue.
Verify. Oh, I think we're gonna close it out then.
Yeah, looks like the live stream is going to close, which is a good time for the rest of us to wrap it up.
That's fine. We'll talk a little bit, but thank you for coming back for
Yeah,
one. At least for
absolutely.
one more.
This isn't the last one. I think we've established that.
It's still recording.
That's fine.
The live is so.
Yeah, I heard it.
Um,
I would like to. I don't know if I'll be able to step back in full time to the co-host role necessarily, but
that's fine.
I'm still floating around, and now I'm dealing with more shit. But I'm still floating around and dealing with what I had going on before. But I'm definitely game to be here more often than not,
Sweet.
for sure.
Yeah.
At least once a month, at least.
That's fine. That sounds like a great start.
Yeah, at least once a month for sure. That's what I can commit to you and to the viewers and listeners. If they've missed me, I don't know if they have or not. I don't know what kind of feedback we had or you had.
I'll have to check the numbers. But
I don't know what what.
There's other shit that I want to tell you about that
Ooh.
Spotify's doing.
Okay.
But I've blabbed about it enough on here, so.
Oh, fuck them. Tell me.
Fuck them. So I don't know where it's at with the episodes now, but Spotify has, when you're listening to a song, you can watch the lyrics.
Yeah.
They do that with the voices now.
No shit.
Yeah. It was in beta last time I checked, but they were doing it for some of the episodes, which was dope as fuck. And then they announced recently, I think when I said recently, it was like a month and a half ago, but they're working on doing those transcriptions in other languages for other countries.
Oh, sick.
So if you're in Germany and you don't understand English,
It'll all be in German, and that way you know exactly what we're talking about.
dude,
Hell yeah, dude. That's
So-
fucking so cool.
this is the coolest thing I've ever fucking seen.
That's so cool.
Watching my conversation go back and forth, I was like, oh my god, I'm so glad I fucking committed to that.
Yeah.
'Cause
Hell yeah.
that's-
I know you were talking about that the last time I was on, about jumping into doing Spotify full time and doing videos and shit like that. That's really cool.
It's come to be very handy too, because I've actually had that conversation with a couple of deaf people.
Really?
Yeah, which made me feel fucking great, like I actually accomplished something because they were able to listen in. Well,
Well, read in.
but be a part of it. They were able to be a fucking part of it because we offer that, and I was it was really great to hear. It was
No, dude, that's super cool.
So-
That's super sick because
stuff that I'm real excited about.
you're reaching a demographic that when I started coming on here regularly before, we had no intention, or not intentions, but no ideas that we could reach that demographic of people who
It's in
the
9.
hearing impaired and
It's in 9 countries.
shut up,
No, it's in 9 countries.
stop it.
Yeah.
Where?
I can't show you right now.
Why
I
not?
need a Jamie. But I'll show you in a minute.
Yeah, sweet.
Um,
I don't know what your other podcasts have kind of looked like, but this ended up kind of being more of a reintroductory for me, which is cool.
yeah, it's all good.
Oh, I pressed a button and a table did something.
Oh, there's plugs and shit in
All
there.
right, I'm gonna put that back. No, man, I'm excited to be back. Like I said, I will commit to at least once a month. I will try to fill whatever slot I can if you need. My availabilities are Tuesday, Wednesdays, and Thursdays. So
Easy money.
well, maybe not money, but easy.
Easy time.
There you go. Easy beers.
Easy beers. So, sweet. Is there anything you want to plug?
Honestly, no, man. I think we touched on everything that I can touch on right now. As far as I've got some stuff in the works that is really cool that I can't really talk about yet.
Mm-hmm.
Mainly because it's legal shit.
Yeah.
But no. Once I'm able to, if that stuff ever comes to fruition, then I will absolutely be blasting that out here.
Sweet.
Well, fuck it. I can tell you this much. I've been dabbling in the idea of starting a legit like hat or clothing line, like hats and t-shirts, t-shirts, beanies, maybe moto gloves.
This feels nice.
I
I like it. I'm a bit of a hat whore myself.
Oh, dude, I've got so many hats. It's not even funny. No, man, I specifically like hats for riders, for guys on bikes, moto and BMX and Harleys and crotch rockets and shit. The biggest thing that I hate about riding with hats, especially if you throw it on your belt loop because you wear helmets, you got nowhere else to put it. They get those stupid dents in the front where the patches and shit will go.
Mm-hmm.
I want to try to come up with something that will keep its shape and without it being hard and uncomfortable on your head or looking super goofy and super stick out off your forehead. You know what I mean? Yeah.
That's this one.
Yeah, that's this one too. Like I gotta,
Good.
but no, I wanna start to design hats or try to design hats and stuff that have more of a fit all the way through instead of just a generic. Something that like when you would custom order a hat, because I've done that a couple times. Custom order, you get custom colors, custom patches, custom shit done on it. Actually take measurements from the crown down to help kind of make it more of a form-fitting hat, specifically not necessarily for beanies, but specifically in like a trucker hat style.
It's gonna be complicated, but I have faith in you.
No, that definitely be complicated, but
Well, it's a new innovation, so of course it's gonna be.
right. So definitely be it, and I don't know how they would look necessarily. Probably be a little goofy at first, but
Keep your fucking eyes open for that, because if you ride, even if you don't, that fucking line of apparel is gonna be amazing, and bet your ass we're gonna have some merch for you.
yeah, that'll come for sure. Definitely, I'm not going to be doing like Dixon's a huge thing.
Yeah,
I'm not going to be doing like a flannel line. It's going to be just regular T-shirts and
simple shit.
yeah, a lot of high vis stuff.
Okay.
The bright yellows, the bright oranges, the bright pinks, the bright reds. Stuff like that. Nothing reflective necessarily, which actually might end up getting into if I do a black shirt or a dark color or a basic colored shirt, having the back lettering. If there's lettering on the back, be a reflective. That way, when you're rolling down the road, more easy to be seen.
Fuck, that's dope. Because if it's at night and then if like you're going around the 101 curve and see headlights cross your back,
Right. Now you know that they've seen you. Right.
you're fucking bright as fuck.
Yep.
So yeah,
Yep.
that's dope, dude. That'd be fucking cool.
So especially for a passenger too, doing.
Gonna have a girl line too.
Oh yeah, no, that's for sure. Crop tops,
Yep.
long sleeves. One of the things that I really want to do too is I want to mess around with, for those of us who want to wear long sleeves during the summer, because I don't like being sunburned all the time.
I do it too. I've grown into it.
Doing a lightweight, like a UV shirt, like you see in construction all the time. They've got those UV sleeves
Oh,
that
yeah,
they
yeah,
do
yeah.
now,
Yeah,
using
yeah.
that material with a tight wristed end,
I was gonna say
so it doesn't slide up.
those fuckers stretch out. So,
Right. So do like an elastic
Mhm.
band on the wrists, and then even on some of them on the waistline
Hmm.
as well, to keep it for those guys on crotch rockets, so it comes up to your fucking neck.
You don't have that problem when you're fat.
Uh,
Belly
yeah,
keeps you anchored. Sometimes.
the back comes up still. But no, that's I've been floating that idea around. Nothing's really in the works yet. I'm still researching materials and costs, and
Might be able to help a little bit with this.
so I know
I've dabbled just a hair in all this shit.
so that would be cool. You know, and I've talked to some other people about it as well, and it's something that specifically the shirts and running that lightweight, flowy material.
Mm-hmm.
People are definitely interested in down here, Southwest California, you know, into Texas, where it just stays hot all the time. But part of that too would have to be, you know, okay, well, as soon as that stuff touches concrete, it's gonna shred.
Yeah.
Is how do we avoid that?
It's a whole new bag of tricks.
Yeah. So that's kind of what I'm floating around.
Sweet. Well, that shit's exciting.
That'll be
Ow.
a while coming, but I heard that.
Yeah, that hurt.
That was wild.
This is my boob.
But that's it. That's all I've got working right now. I don't want to be in a tow truck for the rest of my life. I'd rather
Yeah. Well,
making T-shirts and shit.
that's why I'd rather make less money doing what I'm doing now than fucking do that shit for the rest of my fucking life.
Yeah, I don't blame you.
On the upper hand, I don't have to worry about paying for fuel ever.
Yeah, you work a mile from your house.
Yep. I barely get that thing up to speed before I got to turn in. But
Don't even bother warming it up in the morning. Just
nope, we're going. Sweet.
no, man, that's it.
Been
That's
a
all
good,
I got.
Good fucking episode. Keep your eye out for that. Keep your eye out for Zach, because he'll fucking be back.
Yep.
All the growth we talked about, just keep waiting, because it's coming, but we're going to do it. And as I say, every fucking episode, like, follow, subscribe. If you're on Spotify, go ahead and smash that follow button for me. You get notified every time I drop a new episode. It'll text you like it texts me. I think that's about it. I hope you guys enjoy my cool war music at the end here, and have a great fucking day. I love you.
Good fucking bye.